My name is Anastasia Kalinina and I am the International Marketing Manager at Barbary. Before I came into this role, I used to advise candidates on both everything to do with the exam and the course for the QLTS. So here are the top 10 questions that I received. The Qualified Lawyers Transfer Scheme is available to you as a method of becoming a solicitor in England and Wales if you are a foreign qualified lawyer in any of the SRA recognised jurisdictions. You can check those out on the SRA website to be sure that yours is included. You don't require any documents to register for the exam or for any of its courses. Once you have completed the QLTS, however, both stages, then you would proceed to apply to the Solicitors Regulation Authority in order to join the roll of solicitors. It is at that point that you will need a certificate of good standing from your home jurisdiction. So the QLTS is made up of two stages, the multiple choice test, or MCT, and the objective structured clinical examination, OSCE. You would have to first pass the MCT before you proceed to the OSCE, unless you are MCT exempt. Now, the MCT, as the name suggests, assesses your legal knowledge via multiple choice questions, and this happens over the course of a one-day computer-based exam split into two sessions of 2 hours and 45 minutes each, with a 1 hour break in between. And each session covers 90 questions, so that's a total of 180 questions for the MCT. And the exam is sat in Pearson VUE centres across the globe, so it's worth checking the Pearson website for the nearest one to you. And these are sat in January and July of each year. The OSCE is a 6 half-day exam made up of 18 exercises, and it's kind of split into two parts. The first part deals with the face-to-face skills, things like client interview, case analysis, advocacy, and the part two is the written component, which is things like legal research, legal writing, and legal drafting. And this exam is sat in London, so if you're based abroad, you would have to travel in for that one. You are looking at examination sittings normally in May and November of each year, though in 2020 they opened up an additional examination sitting this July. So check the Kaplan website for further information on that. There are no formal English language requirements for the QLTS, though it's a good rule of thumb to aim for a 7.5 IELTS score. So what's important to remember with the QLTS is that it's more of a professional qualification than it is an academic one. So it covers a very broad range of subjects that are aiming to assess whether you meet the reasonable standard to be admitted as a solicitor here. So you have to have a very general understanding of how the law works here. And for this reason, your preparation needs to be very exam focused, the very specific things that you're required to demonstrate as part of your exam. So for this reason, pretty much anybody who comes into this exam as a student, when they start preparing, is in an even playing field, whether you've had some experience with English law or not. So what we do is we make sure that we prepare you in this exam-focused way and really give you all the necessary information that you need. This is a very common question we receive because a lot of the candidates for the QLTS are people who are already in full-time employment. And you'd be happy to know that the courses are all delivered online and they're flexible and they're very easy to follow. So the personal study plan sets out everything you need to know on a weekly basis. So you don't have to worry about A, knowing exactly where you need to be at any given stage in the course, and B, that you have all the information. You don't need to be digging around for additional resources online. So you also have a mentor to support you and to kind of comfort you in knowing that you are indeed on the right track. You've got your peers to support you through it as well. So there's a lot of tools and a lot of support there for you to ensure that you are actually going through with this and feeling confident all throughout. So for the MCT, we have a couple of course options available. There's a full-time course option, but there's also the part-time one. And for the part-time MCT, you're looking at about 10 to 15 hours of study a week. For the OSCE, there's only one course option, the 12-week one, and for that you're looking at about 20 hours of study a week. So both are viable if you've got other commitments, whether they are work-related or family-related. the MCT exam that costs £565 plus VAT for the upcoming July 2020 exam, and thereafter is £588 plus VAT. And for the OSCE exam, you're looking at £3,042 plus VAT. And these are the examination fees, so they're payable directly to Kaplan, the exam provider. As for the course fees, you're looking at £1,850 for the MCT and £2,400 for the OSCE. If you choose to take the two together, you would have a £450 discount off of the OSCE, bringing it down to £1,950, and there are instalment options available. So upon completing the QLTS, you will apply to the Solicitors Regulation Authority with your Certificate of Good Standing, along with some personal information that will go through a screening process, at the end of which you will hear back from the SRA, and if all goes well, you will join the Roll of Solicitors of England and Wales. There's no limit to how many times you can attempt the MCT or the OSCE exam before you pass it. However, do bear in mind that in autumn of 2021, the Solicitors Qualifying Exam is coming in, or the SQE, and it will replace all current systems of qualification into England and Wales, including the QLTS. So if you wish to qualify under this route, then you have a limited amount of options for your course sittings. If you haven't done the MCT yet, you're looking at either the upcoming July 2020 exam, or the one after that, January 2021, or July 2021. And if you have passed any MCTs beforehand, or will pass any of these upcoming ones, you'll have an additional year to pass your OSCE up until May 2022. If, however, you do not need to pass the MCT, say if you are exempt, then the SQE is your deadline for passing the OSCE as well. So you're looking at May 2021 as your final one. The QLTS and the SQE are quite similar in structure. Both have a multiple choice element as their first stage and a practical legal skills assessment for the second stage. However, the SQE, which will come in 2021 and replace the QLTS, will have a couple of differences. Firstly, it will be a lengthier exam. So for the first stage, for instance, it will be double the amount of questions that are currently on the MCT. It will also be a broader range of subjects, and each question may have a mix of subjects. There is also the requirement of proving English language competency, as well as proving 2 years worth of work experience to complete the whole process of qualification via the SQE. So for this reason, a lot of students are choosing to do the QLTS. Firstly, it's available at the moment, and second of all, it seems to be a much more straightforward route than the SQE will be for foreign qualified lawyers. Thank you very much for listening, and good luck on your QLTS exams.